discussing the Perkin-Elmer LS55 Fluorescence Spectrometer. And first thing you want to do is turn the power on to the spectrometer, with the power buttons located here. The second thing you want to do is turn the power on to the computer. And while the computer is loading up, you want to take a look at, for each instrument we actually have a logbook. So you want to make sure that you log in your name. It has the time and date, the operator, the purpose, the instrument status, and any comments. If the instrument's not okay, please make a note and see the proper people to discuss those matters. So when the computer opens up, you'll see this window called FL WinLab. That's the software program for this instrument. You'll want to double click this. So basically the software is setting up communications to the instrument right now. So there is a general lag period that you'll have to wait. And also, this won't be a problem because you want the instrument to warm up for about 15-20 minutes before you use it anyway. So once we have communication, we're going to want to create our own method. This window right here pops up automatically. So to create a new method, you'll want to go to File, Open, and then you'll go to File Type right here. You'll scroll down until you see Method. Now give your method a general name. I'm gonna be real generic right here and just call it QWERTY. I'm gonna press OK now. See right here, we're still connecting to the instrument. And right here, this is the instrument status window. So we're online, so we should be good to go. So to establish parameters in your method, there's this icon right here that you want to press. And this is the scan icon. So you'll notice that on the excitation you have a start wavelength and an end wavelength, and you have your emission. You want the emission generally to be beyond your excitation wavelengths. So to run the sample, you'll want to run a blank. You don't have to run a blank. You could do a blank subtraction offline, but I'm going to show you the method of how to run a blank with the instrument. So, sorry about that. Right down here, I'm just going to call it very generic. I'm going to call it 072314 BLK, and that's going to be the blank. And we have a start from 220 to. I'm actually going to shorten this range to shorten the time that this video has to take place. So I'm going to be real generic right here. I'm going to end it at 260. But you'll have to set your parameters for whatever compound you're running. And then you have this stop light button right here. You want to, and green means go. So press the go button, and you can see now that we're scanning. And you can see the range that we decided was 220 to 260. And right here you'll see that the method is running. And you can click on the red light to stop this method. So I'm going to let it run. And you can see how we have a green light right here now. So we have established our blank. We've established the blank. You can also change the scan speed right here if you to whatever you desire. It's a scan speed from 10 nanometers per minute to 1500 nanometers per minute. Remember, the slower the scan speed, the longer it'll take, but maybe you might need that for what you're doing. So to put the background so we can subtract it automatically, you go to real-time options, you go to auto background subtract, and then you have to double click in this little window right here. And this brings you to the data file. So you want to quickly find your blank, you go to this view menu, you go to details, and you double click on this date right here. Once, twice. And that gives me the latest date. You can see this is our blank right here, and you can verify that. If you scroll over, you'll see that the blank was run on 7/23/2014 at 3:20 p.m. So let's go ahead and double click that. That's our blank. So we want to run a sample now. So we're going to go back to set up parameters. For some reason, I can't run the sample and the blank at the same at the same wavelength, that may be an issue that we need to contact PerkinElmer with, but I'm going to go ahead and show you right here. And I'm going to call this, all I'm going to do is change it to D, so it's 072314D. I'm going to show you what happens if you run it from 220 to 260, what error that you'll see. So the assistant was out of range. So we want to go back to setup parameters and change this down to 10 nanometers, and now we can run our sample. So we'll click on this, and the sample is currently running because it says method running. Control S or click on red light to stop. So also, I forgot to mention that you have to input your sample into the sample cuvette. So since this is just an example, you would want to put you'll have your cuvette right here. The door to the beam is right here, so you want to open the door and put your cuvette in the beam. Then you'll want to close the door. You'd want to do this before you actually run your blank. So you want to put the blank solution in there with whatever solvent you are, then put your sample in there. I forgot to mention that, but this is just for training demonstrations. So I'm going to do a regular run on the LS55 Fluorescence Spectrometer. So how you do this is you go to application, and then you go to read. So once the read is established, you'll have to give your file a name. So I'm going to give it a generic name, 1234QWERT. And then what you have to do is actually double click here, and you have to save it. Now you have a saved file. So first you'll want to measure the background. So I'm going to go ahead and change this emission to 450. Remember, this will be dependent on your experiment. So you come here, and we're going to measure you're going to measure a blank. So you'll put your cuvette in here, and you'll measure a blank. And then once you're ready, you'll press the measure BG button. And you'll see right here that the yellow means that it's currently measuring the background. After the background has been measured, you'll insert your sample into the sample cuvette holder. So I'm going to open the sample cuvette holder door right here. I have my sample that I'm going to get. I'm going to insert my sample into the sample cuvette holder. Close the door. Now I'm going to take a measurement. So what you do is you go to Instrument and you press the Run button. And you'll see right here that the intensities, and you can also change the integration time right here. The integration time is a time in seconds, and we have it currently at 1. So it'll take a measurement every 1 second. That's how we have it set up. So once you're satisfied with the number of measurements, you stop it right here. And then to look at your data, you double click your file name, come here, press details once, twice, and then this is your file. So go ahead and throw it on the desktop, which I've already done right here. You can see it on the desktop. And once you have it on the desktop, you can double click and you can see at the different integration times your different intensities. And the intensities are all the same for us right now is because our sample is saturating the detector. What you want to do now is you want to shut off the instrument. So first, make sure that you get your sample out of the cuvette holder, and go ahead and dispose of the sample properly. And make sure that you clean out the cuvette with DI water before putting it back too. So go ahead and close out all your windows. And when it comes to FL WinLab, just press exit. I will exit out of this screen. Method has been modified, save changes before exit. That'll be up to you. I'm going to press no. As far as this right here goes, you'll have to go into the status window. You go to File, you go to Exit, and that'll close out both of those windows right there. Next thing you'll do is go to Start, turn off computer, turn off, and then After the computer shuts down, what you'll want to do is you'll want to shut down the fluorometer. And how you do that is, remember the black button right there? You press it off, you'll hear no more noise. There's a little noise that this instrument makes. Plus, you'll see that the orange button is no longer lit.